Hi, and welcome to Beginning Programming. Today we're going to be looking at AngularJS in combination with RequireJS. I've been putting together this little tutorial because when I started using the two together to create modular systems, I couldn't find enough resources to get me started. So I hope this packet of resources will be enough for everybody to get into building modular applications using AngularJS. Um, I'm not going to dive deep into each of the technologies. I'm just going to show you how to use them to create a modular system. If you want to know more about these separate um, systems like RequireJS or Bower.js, which I use to include my packages, then I suggest you search YouTube or something else to find some really great resources on how to build applications and use these specific systems. I'm going to be focusing on joining AngularJS with RequireJS. So let's start with that. The first thing every web application needs is an HTML file, and I'm going to call it index.html. As you can see, I've already installed AngularJS and RequireJS using Bower, and I'm going to include my RequireJS file as a data main, so as a main file for my RequireJS. I'm going to create a main.js. Let's say I'll put that in an app folder just to segment my application a bit better. So here we go. We have a main.js, and a main.js will consist of something like a require.config where I can maintain my dependencies. So to save time, I'm going to copy paste a part into our application. We don't have these two yet, but we're going to be making them. And as you can see, I have some shims. And shims specify my dependencies. They can also specify something that my RequireJS spits out, but I'm not going to go into that part. We're just going to be using our shim to create dependencies. So what do we see? We need something like an app. An app.js, and an app.js will consist of a very simple structure. We're going to define something. Define is used to create a module in RequireJS, and the only thing we're going to do is we're going to say angular.module app, and this thing is dependent on nothing. That's not really true. It's going to be dependent on our core module, which we're going to build now. And you can look at a core module as something that every other module will eventually need. So the app bootstraps everything together, and my core module gives us all of our core functionality. So again, we're going to go angular.module core module, and this one is going to be dependent on anything as well. The only thing I do want to add here is I'm going to say that my core module has a controller, because that's the easiest way for me to actually test if everything works. So I'll call it main controller, which will have a function with a $scope. And on this scope I want something like a title, which I'll call Hello Angular. Our app is going to be dependent on our core module, and as you can see in my main, I've already put paths to this app and to this core module. I've also specified that my app is dependent on Angular and the core module, and my core module depends on Angular. So the only thing I need to do when I have this set up now is say that when everything starts, I want to require my app, which will then load my core module, which will create a controller, and which will put everything together. So what I do once I have this app is I'm going to bootstrap my application. Angular.bootstrap. And what am I bootstrapping? I'm bootstrapping my app on my document. My document. And what am I bootstrapping? My app. So basically this is it. Now to give us a proof of concept, we can add a data ng controller tag to our application, call this main controller, and just push out an h1 with a title. Now, as you can see, we have our title here, and this is completely segmented into two modules. In other episodes, I'm going to be showing you how to segment your modules into controllers and directives and all that kind of goodness, and get something like lazy loading going on. What I hope you learned from this one is that it's not hard to make a minimal setup using RequireJS and AngularJS. Now, if, for instance, you wanted to add jQuery to this mix, you would do something like bower install jQuery, and the only thing you have to do then is specify a jQuery path, and jQuery is located in jQuery distribution, jQuery. One jQuery too much. And now with our app, I have a dependency on AngularJS, but what I actually want to do is I want to specify that Angular depends on jQuery. And now our AngularJS application will use jQuery to find and locate its elements. Okay, this was a simple tutorial on how to build a modular system using AngularJS and RequireJS. I hope you have as much fun with this as I have, and I hope to see you again in future videos. Bye.